everyone, Ruby here and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. So in today's tutorial, I will be showing you how to highlight and contour. Now this tutorial is perfect whether you are a beginner or somebody who's been wearing makeup for many years. This highlighting and contouring technique that I'm about to show you can be used for everyday wear and also formal events. If you'd like to learn how to get this polished, sculpted look without using a kilo of concealer and a ton of powder, then please keep on watching. And now that I've got your attention, if you are new here, then please hit that subscribe button so you can join the family and you will be notified of my next upload. All right, let's get started. So I want you to have a look at my eyes, and if you've got a mirror at home sitting in front of you, pull out your mirror and also look at your eyes too if you have the chance. So as you can see, the darkest part of my eye is right in that inner corner above the head of my brow near my tear duct, and it kind of goes in a line going downwards all the way down to the tops of my cheeks here. This is what makes your eyes look really heavy. It makes you look tired, sick. And this is the area that you need to focus on in order to have a brighter eyed look. So the first step is to color correct and knock out the darkness right in the inner corner of your eye. And for that, I am using a corrector, and as you can see, I've hit pan. It is very much loved. This is the Bobbi Brown corrector in the shade Light Bisque. Now, depending on your complexion, your corrector shade will vary. If you are quite fair like me, your corrector shade will be more of a salmon color. If you're somebody who has a deeper complexion, then your correctors will be more on the orange side. So I'm just taking a small amount of this corrector on a synthetic brush. And you want to use a synthetic brush because synthetic brushes apply cream products better. They're also easier to clean. If you do use a real head brush such as this one, that is typically used for eyeshadow and powder product, you'll end up damaging your brush and you won't be getting your money's worth at all. Just a small amount, and I'm gonna work it right in that inner corner, just like this. Now I'm taking a little more product and I'm just going to apply it in that inner corner right beside my nose, and I'm just going to work it down just onto that line to color correct and just knock out that darkness. And you can see the difference with just corrector already. As you can see, this side looks a lot more lifted. The blue purple tinge has been reduced, and this side is still quite sunken in and very dark. So this is with just a little bit of corrector on its own. Now we're going to take some concealer and start highlighting. Actually, what I'm going to do for the rest of this video, I'm going to demonstrate everything on the right hand side of my face so you can just kind of reference just how good this technique and these products are. So I'm using my favorite concealer right now. This is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer in the shade 2.5. I'm going to use the same synthetic brush, and then I'm just going to take a small amount of this concealer and I'm just going to run it underneath my eyes and also on the sides of my nose. And the reason why I like to apply it on the sides of my nose, it's like reverse contouring. This makes my nose look much more narrow. So in comparison, it makes my cheek area look a lot larger, and it just lifts and brightens this area. So as you can see, this side of my face looks so much better than the left-hand side. But you can still see that part of my cheek area is raised and directly underneath my eyes is a little more sunken in. So the reason why it looks this way is because, first of all, the foundation on my skin is a little bit dewy. So anywhere there's a bit of sheen, the area is going to look a little bit more raised. So what I'm going to do is mattify this area completely. So this line that I've got going on underneath my eyes should look more even and smooth with powder. Did you see that? It's like magic. But as soon as you mattify this area, it's going to look flat, more even, with less texture. It's just going to look really smooth. I'm using an eyeshadow brush with minimal product, and as you can see, you don't need to bake, you don't need to waste a whole heap of loose translucent powder to get a really nice under eye look. Ta-da! Doesn't this look much better? I don't mind myself with dark under eyes, let's be real. It's how I look, but I do prefer this version. So when it comes to sculpting your face, I feel like there's only two types of products that you can use: creams and powders. I will always 100% hand on my heart pick cream products over powders. And I just find that pigmented powder products emphasize things like peach fuzz, breakouts, pitting, scarring. So I always like to use creams. I have here the new Benefit Hoola Quickie Contour Stick. So I'm just going to go from the top of my ear here and draw it down halfway like this. I'm not going to draw a line to my mouth because that looks ridiculous. No one's cheekbones go down that way. And I'm going to use my Sigma Duo Fiber brush to blend this out. Make sure you blend it really well into the hairline, and I like to blend up in circular motions. If you're not happy with the intensity, you can always add a little more product. I always like to build up my contour instead of applying like a ton of product that I can't even blend out. And as you can see, I'm pulling the brush upwards towards my hairline to ensure that the contour product has blended well into my hairline so it looks realistic. So that is a really nice subtle cheek contour for the day that looks super natural and is very wearable. If I was going out for the evening and I needed a little bit more on my cheeks, I will then add a little more product in the same areas once again. And what I'll do is not only will I blend it up towards my hairline, I'll also blend it down right here to shave some of the weight that I have on the sides of my face. Now, the reason why I'm going down like this near my jaw and not across like this towards the corner of my mouth is because that's naturally where your cheeks hollow out. So if you do this, you'll see this area of your cheeks kind of falling in, and this is what makes your cheeks and your face in general look slim. So you're cheating that gaunt supermodel look with makeup. Do the same on the other side. And this is how the cheeks look after. If you want your forehead to look more narrow and more slender, then what you can do is take your contour stick and recede that area back. So once again, I like to stick close to the hairline as possible to make it look natural. Again, I am using my Duo Fiber brush to blend it into my hairline and also onto my forehead. I like this brush. It's able to blend out my contour without moving my foundation, which is super important because I don't want my base to look blotchy. I also like to use cream contours on my nose because they're super easy to blend out if you make a mistake. And I run this over my contour stick. I then go ahead and start drawing two lines, one line on each side of my nose. So for me, the bridge of my nose is quite narrow. It's just kind of the tip that flares out. And the closer that your lines are, the more narrow your nose will look. I'm then going to draw a little line on the tip of my nose here to make it look slightly shorter, and then to give it an upturned look with whatever product is left on my brush. I pinch the brush like this, fanning it out, and I just draw a slight line right across there. And this just gives the illusion of an upturned nose. I take a clean synthetic brush and start diffusing and buffing those lines. And now I'm just going to take a little bit of loose powder and powder my nose to lock everything in place and to slightly diffuse those lines. Whether it's for everyday use or a nighttime event, I like to use a very finely milled highlighting powder, like the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector. I feel like this is such a good highlighter, and with a very light hand, and I like to hold my brush right at the end just so I can have a very loose grip on it. I just highlight the tops of my cheeks. I also like to apply a tiny bit of highlighter right here. This is where the nose and brow area just kind of dips right down, and I like to bring that forward with a little bit of highlight. The other places that I like to highlight, and I typically like to use whatever's left on my brush, I like to highlight right above the highest point of my brow, the head of my brow here, a little bit on the tip of my nose, just very slightly again, and also the Cupid's bow. I then like to slightly powder the rest of my face using a loose translucent powder. Once again, I am using the Chanel Universal Powder, and I just take a brush about this size and I powder everywhere that I haven't applied my highlight. I always powder my face downwards because it means that I am laying my peach hair down and I'm not like emphasizing my peach fuzz. I know a lot of people like to double contour, so if you've used a cream contour and then you're going over it with a powder contour, make sure you powder down your cheek area first just so your contour won't cling to any areas, because when your contour clings to your foundation without powder, it's very hard to diffuse and blend out, and you're just going to end up with a very large, dark, unnatural stripe across your cheek. So the brush that I'm using to contour my cheekbones further is the Bobbi Brown Eye Blender brush. I think it's absolutely ridiculously big for the eye area, so I like to use it on my face to set my foundation, apply my highlighters, and also my contours if I choose to use a powder contour, but it's very rare. So I've got my Hoola bronzer slash contour by Benefit Cosmetics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work it in circular motions from my hairline close to my ear, and I'm just going to work it down halfway across my cheek. I really, really like this brush because it fits so nicely in those hollows. For this part, you just want to use whatever's on the brush. You just want it to be like a slight shadow. I'm just going to add a little bit more product on my forehead. And that's it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed today's tutorial dedicated to highlighting and contouring. When I'm not uploading on here, I am on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Be sure to follow me there to keep up to date with everything that I'm working on. I look forward to seeing you all in my next tutorial, which will be up next week. So be sure to subscribe to stay in the know. I love you guys, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye. Mwah.